Hey everyone, welcome back to Age and Education channel. Today we shall continue with the chapter respiration, and this is the final leg of this chapter, and here we shall look into respiration in plants and respiration in animals. Alright, first we shall look into respiration in plants. So what happens here? As you all know, respiration is all about what do you need here? Here first of all, for this process to happen, you need oxygen, right? You need oxygen and your body will release out carbon dioxide. Alright, this oxygen, where it is used? This oxygen is used to break down the food that you eat. So the food that you eat, which is stored in the form of glucose, right? This has to be broken down, right? So that you get energy. Okay, and this energy is released in the form of ATP. What is it? ATP. So in this process of respiration, overall what happens? The glucose breaks down to release energy in the form of ATP, right? So for this, what do you need? You need oxygen, right? And this process gives carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide should also be released into the atmosphere, or as it is plant, this oxygen will also be used to make what? To make its own food for the photosynthesis, right? So what happens here is that the glucose here is oxidized using the oxygen, right? Is oxidized, and what you get is carbon dioxide. Okay, by now you will have to know these notations, right? Carbon dioxide, this one, and water plus energy. Water plus energy. Okay. So glucose will be oxidized and it gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. And this carbon dioxide will be either released out into the atmosphere or it will be used by the plant in the process of photosynthesis, right? In photosynthesis, the plant needs carbon dioxide, you know about it. Okay, so what is the main thing here? What we need here is exchange of gases, right? Or at least you can say that there should be some way how the oxygen is taken in by the plant, right? So how will this happen? Is there only one mechanism of stomata, as we have mentioned earlier in the chapter of photosynthesis in your lower grades? No, there is something more to obtain the oxygen from the atmosphere. Okay, so now let us look into respiration in plants, like what are the varied mechanisms that are there to obtain, for the plant to obtain oxygen, right? Now what did I say? Respiration, and how the gases, exchange of gases takes place, right? Exchange of gases that will aid the process of respiration, right? So this can be done using stomata. You all know this, right? How will the stomata be? Do you remember where will it be? These are first of all these will be present on the leaf, right? So it will be present on the leaf, and these are tiny openings, and these will be opening and closing based upon the need, right? They will open and close based upon the need. Okay, now, and you also know that apart from exchange of gases, what else happens through stomata? Transpiration in plants also occurs through the stomata. Okay, so here you have to remember that from the leaves the exchange of gases takes place through stomata. Okay, now how about the stems? Will they do anything? Yes, the stems will also have lenticels. What is it? Lenticels. Lenticels are small openings. Okay, like there are some small pores type, okay, which are always open and through which the gas exchange takes place, right? Gas exchange takes place from these lenticels too. These lenticels are present on what? Stems, right? And these will be open all the time, and whereas in stomata they open and close based upon the need, but here in the lenticels these are always open. The pores are always open, right? Always ready to exchange the gases. Now, what is the other way? So, we are done with stomata. So, in a tree, just check in a plant or tree, okay? So, you'll have like this, right? So, this is the stem and these are the leaves. So, we are done with exchange of gases in this part of the plant, and we are done with exchange of gases in this part of the plant too. Here through lenticels, here through stomata. Then what is left? Roots. So, we should also see as how roots will facilitate in the exchange of gases, right? So, root cells of the plants will also, right? Root cells of the plants will also take up the gas, take up the oxygen from the surrounding soil particles, right? It's because not from the soil particles as such, but the air that is present in between the soil particles, that will be used by the roots to obtain the gas, and it will release the gas too. So, exchange of gases takes place in the root part of the plants too, okay? So, but how about the plants that grow in the salty water, like in the Sundarban areas, you will find some mangrove plants, right? So, how about those? They will have some special roots, right? Those roots are called as air breathing roots, right? So, those are also called as nematophores, okay? So, in that sort of roots, the roots will come out of the soil which is salty, and it will facilitate the exchange of gases in that way too, right? So, our different type of plants have different mechanism as such, not so much different, but most of the plants will do the same, except for this sort of difference wherein this mangrove type of plants, whose roots are in the salty soil, will actually come out and facilitate this gas exchange, and whereas all other plants will do it from under the soil itself. It will use the air that is present in the gaps of the soil particles, right? So, every soil particle will not be of the same size, so that they will have perfect binding, right? So, there will be some gaps. So, whatever air is stuck in these gaps, this air is used by the root cells of the plants. Alright. So, respiration is facilitated by exchange of gases, and exchange of gases will take place through stomata, lenticels and root cells of the plants. Alright. With this, we are done with respiration in plants. Now, we will get into the chapter of, not the chapter, the sub-chapter as such, respiration in other animals, right? Alright. Now, let us look into respiration in animals, right? We have already dealt with respiration in human beings. Now, in animals, first let us consider mammals. So, mammals like dogs, cows, what happens in here? Like human beings, they also use, yes, lungs. Okay. Now, what happens in birds? Yes, they do also have lungs. But apart from this, because birds are involved in high energy processes, like flying needs lots of energy, and there should be a continuous flow of oxygen, and its body should also be light, right? For that reason, along with the lungs, they also have air sacs. Okay. So, with this, there will be continuous flow of oxygen that is needed for its high energy processes, right? What are the high energy process the birds are involved in? You all know, it's flying, right? Birds are known for flying. So, the flying needs lots of energy, and for this you need lots of oxygen to be pumped into the body of the bird, and this happens through this lungs plus air sacs mechanism, and this air sacs will also keep the body of the bird lighter so that it can easily fly. Alright. Now, how about the reptiles? Yes, reptiles like snakes, lizards. So, in reptiles like snakes, lizards and crocodiles, we can find this lung system itself, right? Lung system itself in the process of respiration. But here one catch is that the lung system in these reptiles is not as developed as it is in the mammals. Alright, so till now what we have dealt, we have seen the respiration in other animals like mammals, birds and reptiles, and what I have mentioned here is lungs, lungs and lungs. So is it the only way or is it the only mechanism that animals respire with? No, there are some other mechanisms. That is the reason we are taking it as a separate section and we are knowing about it, right? So what are the other mechanisms? First of all, why these other mechanisms have evolved when this lung system is there? This difference is because there are variations in the habitat, right? Habitat means what? The animal's home in simple terms, right? Where the animals live are very much used or comfortable to live. It's like their home, right? So with regard to the habitat, there are differences in the animals, and with regard to their structure, their body structure will also vary, right? And also the evolutionary adaptations based on the conditions they live in, right? So evolutionary adaptations, all these made the animals not prefer as such. It can't actually elect as I want to go for this, I want to go for that, but because of these evolutionary adaptations, some animals have some type of mechanism to respire and some other animals will have some other mechanisms, right? So what we have looked into here is only lungs till now. So what are the other mechanisms? We can say gills. You all know, right? Gills is, where do you find it? In fishes and other aquatic animals, right? So gills will be used in aquatic animals, and some animals also respire through skin. What is it? Respire through skin. And what is it is called? What is it called? It is called cutaneous respiration. What is it? Cutaneous respiration. Okay, it means that respiration will take place through the skin. Okay, now, and what are the other, maybe you can say that the respiration in cockroaches will be through spiracles, right? In cockroaches and other insects. Okay, in insects the respiration will be a complex net, will be through spiracles and a complex network of trachea and tracheoles. All right, so here we will look into a more detail into this gill, skin and spiracles types of mechanisms, how the respiration takes place, okay, in all this. And with that we will be done with respiration in other animals. Okay, first of all we shall look into respiration through gills in what? Yes, fish and other aquatic animals, right? All right, respiration through gills. Okay, so where can you find this? Yes, you all know, in aquatic animals, right? So we are saying about the gills. What are these gills? First of all, these gills are, first let me complete this. You can find this type of respiration in aquatic animals, right? So these gills are specialized organs. What are those? Specialized organs used for gas exchange, right? For exchange of gases. These are the specialized organs that are used by the aquatic animals, right? Specialized organs for gas exchange. Don't forget this. Okay. Now, what happens here is that the water enters the body of the fish through its mouth, right? So once the water enters the body, it will flow over the gills, and these gills will extract, what does they do? They extract the dissolved oxygen from the water, right? Dissolved oxygen from the water. How will this happen? This will happen because the gills are made up of filaments. What are those? The gills are made up of thin filaments, and these thin filaments are rich in blood vessels, right? Thin filaments of blood vessels. So, with the process of diffusion, the oxygen that is present in the higher concentration in the water will enter the gills, right? This way the extraction of oxygen takes place through the process of diffusion by the gills, and later, because of the same procedure of diffusion, process of diffusion, what happens is that the carbon dioxide that is rich in the blood inside, that is present inside the body of the fish, will come out of these gills and will enter what? It will enter the water and it will be sent out, right? So the process of diffusion itself helps the gills either to absorb the water, absorb the oxygen from the water, or send out the carbon dioxide from the blood of the fish, right? I hope everything is clear. It is as simple as this. The gills will work based upon the process called as diffusion. Alright, and these gills are as such made up of thin filaments that are rich in blood vessels. And as these are the thin filaments, the exchange of gases takes place very easily. Alright, and the process is, what is the process as such? The basic process behind the working of the gills is what? Diffusion, right? This will be a question for you. Two questions can be asked here, like the first question would be, what are the specialized organs that are used for gas exchange in aquatic animals? Then your answers should be gills. And what is the process used by the gills to extract the dissolved oxygen from the water? Then that process would be diffusion. All right. So these are very important questions, and this may be also one of the questions, like what is this? What is the gill is made up of? You can say the gill is made up of thin filaments of blood vessels. All right. So this is about the respiration through gills, and I don't want to continue this further. Now we will wrap up this, and there are just two more things that have to be covered, and I will cover it in the next video. Right, it will be, maybe it will last to the max of 10 minutes. Okay, after that we will be done. Okay, if you at all feel like this video is helpful for you, consider subscribing and liking the video. Okay, thank you.